What's my favorite nickname for you? I have a few.
Love is one. Daddy.
No.
So at this point, I feel like I've made about 3 or 4 different videos now on the topic of tradwives, the topic of tradwife culture over on TikTok.
Number 1 rule as a tradwife, this is your duty as a wife. A man's home is his castle, so he should be treated as a king. It's every wife's duty to appreciate her man and all his hard work. Show him how much you truly appreciate him, okay? He is your king, and you are his queen.
I have discussed Hannah Nealman a couple of times, where she was quite literally labelled Queen of the Tradwives, a label which she doesn't really want. She has openly stated that. Of course, we had all of that Hannah Nealman drama a few weeks ago, where many people were feeling extremely sorry for her, seemingly not really living the life that she set out wanting to live. She then had to set the record straight and say that the journalist that came into the house was actually not being very truthful.
We were taken back, however, when we saw the printed article, which shocked us and shocked the world by being an attack on our family and my marriage, portraying me as oppressed, with my husband being the culprit.
As a result of that, she is making a pretty penny off of the packages of Ballerina Farm's farm, with all the meat packages and everything. It kind of felt like maybe all of that was very much just so that they could then push their business. I don't know. That's just my own thoughts and feelings. So we discussed that in length. We discussed the difference between being a tradwife and then being a Mormon tradwife. If you are the traditional Mormon wife, stay at home, you automatically follow the tradwife aesthetic. You follow the tradwife life. Very different things, one of which is more governed by a religion. The other one is just wanting to keep a more traditionalist sense. And TikTok is absolutely flooded with these tradwives. They are absolutely everywhere.
And so I really do try, when he comes home from work and when we're together on the weekends and stuff, I try to be pleasant. And sometimes, you know, that doesn't just come naturally. Sometimes it's something that you need to do very consciously. To do my makeup, I like to do my hair and try and just get into that mode of like, I'm in love with this guy.
We've also discussed Nara Smith. Now, we have discussed Nara Smith because when you say tradwife, everyone seems to bring her up, and I pointed out in my last video, is she really a tradwife, when in actuality she works pretty hard. She's still a model, she still goes out, in her words, she goes and gets on planes with her babies, goes and does a job, and then comes back and then, you know, caters to the family.
Husband doesn't cook, but I've been missing Germany so much lately that tonight he asked me whether I could show him one of my favorite German dishes to cook so he could cook it for me.
She had been receiving quite a lot of flack a couple of weeks ago, which I did talk about. She was accused of copying Oneswa, who is a South African creator. Not only that, but she was also accused of stealing a Marc Jacobs ad, and then there was also another ad that was added into it as well from this other creator, and all in all it was not looking great. She's also been getting quite a lot of flack for the fact that she's making her own sunscreen. People seem to think she's putting on a facade. Following everything that I just said, she has now come out and she has done a couple of interviews, one of which was with GQ, where you had her and Lucky Blue, her husband, doing, I will just say, a very adorable couples GQ quiz. Also have her doing an interview of Harper's Bazaar, where she does not claim being a tradwife. She goes into a lot of detail there, and Lucky Blue, her husband, comes out and says that people are jealous, and that is the reasoning why she's getting a lot of hate. So we have got a lot to get through. But I did think that their couples GQ quiz was just a really good insight into their relationship dynamic. I do believe that they do have a good one, despite many people deeming it a bit controversial at its origin. I do think that they had a good amount of chemistry going. And I think that chemistry and learning to build yourself and learning to build with your partner is just absolutely essential for a good relationship, no matter what stage of relationship you're in. I do feel that there's always areas of improvement, which leads us on to the sponsor of today's video, the Paired app. The Paired is a relationship care app that offers daily couple questions, relationship games, quizzes, and exercises, and their mission is to improve the happiness of couple relationships. They prompt fun, meaningful conversations between couples, which is backed by leading experts and research. So over here, you can see that it is quite literally backed by leading experts. There's a ton of people on there. Also offers a feature of a timeline where you can document all your key and important and best moments of your relationship, which, as coming from somebody who is newly in a relationship, it is a lot of fun just being able to just piece by piece just put in when you got together, and then to then slowly start adding all the little milestones and all the really fun things that you can look forward to doing. And the thing that I love most about this app is that it's suitable for all stages of a relationship. So you can be newly in a relationship like me and just be for fun, and it can be for ways to actually grow as a couple. And I will leave examples right up here, but you can go and have a little look, and they have so many different categories to choose from. You have categories such as connection, sex and intimacy. You go click on them, and then you then get met with a variety of different quizzes, games and questions. The Paired app is a really fun and easy way of taking care of your relationship. So for instance, I did a cuddle quiz where I go along and I answer all the questions, and then once I've then submitted the question, the partner will then come on and they will then answer on their end, and you can go and review. There is no right or wrong answer, but a way of being able to gauge how you both feel about a particular topic. So it doesn't have to be something as simple as cuddling. It could be something a little bit more in-depth, such as conflict, how you wish to resolve it. And me being in a new relationship, it gives you the advantage of being able to ask questions and to reflect on events and reflect on moments that you wouldn't normally ask. You wouldn't normally ask these questions, but with this app, you're able to do so. Because as we all know, strong communication is key for a happy and healthy relationship, and I agree with that 1000%. And as you're doing all of these quizzes and you're browsing all the different categories, you'll realize and you'll discover relationship strength and growth areas. So for instance, an area which is one of the areas that I would really like to explore would be a connection. However, if you're then further on in your relationship, you'll be able to access and be able to grow in other areas as well, such as finances. The Paired app is the ultimate relationship companion. It is filled with different games, different quizzes, and ways for you to really build your intimacy with your partner, whether it's a new relationship or it's a relationship that's going to be growing over time, or it's already a really established one. The activities that are available within this app are made to foster communication, trust and intimacy, which is all backed by leading experts and researchers, which will then empower you as a couple to unlock your relationship potential, create intimacy, and mean that you can create a lot of lasting memories together. And I really can't think of many other ways that you're able to gain this amount of feedback from your partner so that you can actually unlock next stages of intimacy, and it means that you're bringing yourself closer. So if you would also like to find out more about the Paired app and you want to be giving it a go with your significant other, no matter what stage of the relationship journey you are in, please click the link down below for a 7-day free trial and 25% off of the Paired app Premium. You can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner. Thank you so much for the Paired app for sponsoring today's video. But right now we're going to be getting on to what has been going on with Nara Smith, the interviews that she has been doing, where she has been formally rejecting. This has been an announcement to Tradwife TikTok saying, I do not condone being called a tradwife. She has had enough of that label, because when you think of tradwives on TikTok, you're kind of thinking of like Nara Smith, even though there is a very strong debate on, is she even a tradwife? I don't personally think she is. I think she fits that aesthetic.
I asked my toddlers what they wanted for breakfast, and they both said cereal. So cereal it was, and we got started right away.
Have you ever asked yourself why it is that tradwives and other conservative female influencers who promote traditional gender roles have all the time in the world to make cereal from scratch, but somehow never seem to record themselves doing essential domestic labor like vacuuming, trying to get a particularly nasty stain out of a shirt, or scrubbing a toilet? When they are performing labor in these videos, it's always something that, strictly speaking, is unnecessary, and they are doing it the hardest way possible. Because the answer is that it is for show. It is all a performance.
Now, a lot of the criticism that has been coming up with, Tradwife TikTok, not just Nara Smith, but Tradwife TikTok as a whole, has been the fact that all of it is for show. Just how much of this are they actually doing? How much of this is just for content? And if you were a, tradwife, then of course, you'd be doing all that anyway, and you're just filming what you need to film. Now, as I was having a little look through Nara Smith and Tradwife TikTok, I did come across a Harper's Bazaar interview, which I'll read bits of in just a moment. She addresses just how she comes up with ideas and all of that goes into it, which is kind of answering the question of, is this all for content?
Can he help you film?
No, he doesn't. I'm very specific with how I want my angles and how I want it shot and how I want it to look. So he's offered I've just politely declined. How far in advance do you plan your TikTok recipes and videos? That depends on what I'm doing and what my current situation looks like. Sometimes I'm traveling, so I pre-plan some things and I pre-shoot some stuff, or I just kind of make it up the night before and I'm like, ooh, that would be cool tomorrow. A lot of the times I film what I would naturally do already, like my meal prep videos. I would naturally meal prep anyways, so I just film that, or making different dinners, or making my kids things that they requested, because they actually do request those things.
Now, this is very important and something that you have to try and keep in mind, because she has been called out recently by Be Better, I think a Be Better company, out for the fact that this could be influencing a much younger generation to look up to this and think that this is possible, that she has 3 kids and she maintains this beautiful image, because let's face it, she is drop dead gorgeous, finest gowns, finest dresses, and she's able to make, you know, sunscreen and Coca-Cola from scratch, and she does it so effortlessly, trying to struggle with that word. So to a younger audience, it may seem that this is just the way that she is, when in actuality what you don't see is the post-production, you don't see the nannies, you don't see everything else. And Nara Smith has very openly come out and said, you know, we don't have any of that.
I'm simply trying to bring up the real world consequences of young women aspiring to that life, not being informed of the danger of losing their financial independence to a man who may or may not support them in the future, and rushing to have children because you subconsciously accepted extremely fake, fabricated, fantasy level content as reality.
Now, due to this answer with her basically saying like, well, you know, a lot of it, you know, I do make myself anyway, what the kids request is actually, you know, this is real life. So for instance, you have her kids requesting things such as cornflakes, or requesting these little gummies where she has to literally turn into like a scientist for like 2.5 seconds.
I asked my toddlers what they wanted for breakfast this morning. They went back and forth and ultimately decided on blueberry bagels with some cream cheese, so that's exactly what I made them this morning.
She claims is something that she requests, but then she does also go on to say, you know, I'll have ideas. I will brainstorm things if they're more elaborate, you know. If I'm going away, I'll have to brainstorm. So there is definitely an element of, this is very much for content, okay? This is not all of it is just as it is. In this interview in just a moment, she kind of spins this around and goes, no, I'm just doing what I always do. This is just me, this is my real life, and people are very annoyed by it. She also does admit that the reasoning why she does her ASMR voice is because she does her voiceovers in the cupboard. Which I'm not knocking her for the fact that she's got to do voiceovers in the cupboard. I've done voiceovers underneath duvets before I could get a microphone. I've definitely done that before. But I thought that the reasoning why she did it was because she wanted to get involved with the whole ASMR thing, not the fact that she was filming in the cupboard. She says, Smith is still trying to figure out where she fits amid all the frenzy. I never know what to say when people ask me what I do, because technically, yes, I create content, but then I'm just living my life and sharing that with people, which a lot of people do. Can't say that you're not doing a lot of this for content, and this is not to drag Nara Smith, because truth be told, I actually do find her content fascinating, from the fact that she can just create, and she has these like, you know, I don't often see people making their own sunscreen. I don't often see people making their own Coca-Cola because their husband requested it. I don't often see that. So she is doing something new. And if you're doing something new and you're doing it well, I'm going to give you praise for it. Do you see what I mean? This isn't a drag. Her coming out and saying, you know, I'm very confused as to why people don't believe that this is what I do on a regular basis. However, she's then coming out and she's saying, you know, well, when I need to think of ideas or when I need to film other content. So not everything she's doing is exactly the way that she'd be doing it if it wasn't for content, if this makes any sense. Which is leaning into the whole, you know, giving this warped view of what traditional housewives and such are like for the younger population. She explains that she does voiceovers for her videos, from her bedroom closet, hiding from her kids, hence the hushed tones. She says, I don't have a Twitter account and never have. I'm not even going to open that door. I post videos of me cooking for my kids and my husband. It is really not that deep. But there is one thing that seems to get under Smith's skin, and that has to do with how often She is positioned at the centre of the Tradwife or traditional wife debate, coinciding with the fall of Roe in 2022, a subset of influencers who project a cheery adherence to 1950s-style gender roles, cooking, cleaning, child-rearing and serving their man, all with a smile and perfect makeup, has gained popularity across social platforms and generated a slew of ragey think pieces. And while Smith is a young, beautiful mother who makes videos of the meals she cooks for her husband and family, she doesn't see herself that way. So when I talk about Tradwife TikTok, the reasoning why I don't really think she is fitting into that category is that a lot of the people on Tradwife TikTok are very passionate about the fact that they are tradwives. It's not even the fact that they're not out there working. They have it in their bio.
Home to try and be a boss. There's nothing wrong with wanting a simple life and enjoying your feminine side. So I'm glad that people are finally opening their eyes to the true joys of life.
So not only is Nara Smith actually going out and working anyway, she might have nannies, she might say she doesn't. At this point, she probably does have nannies, even though she says she doesn't. It's by the by. She works. Her husband also works. She also tends to the home. And to be honest, their relationship dynamic, I kind of think it's quite cute. People could not like me for it, but I think it's kind of cute.
What's my favorite nickname for you? I have a few. Name the top two.
Love is one. Daddy.
No. You can do better than this. Take a deep breath.
Next question.
How many kids do I want?
Well, we have 3.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
But you did want 6.
I did want
when
6.
When we first met, you wanted
Good job.
6.
Okay, you get an extra point for that.
Then the Tradwives, there's just an element of sadness going on. And this doesn't mean to say that, you can't be a tradwife. If you're a tradwife, you're unhappy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just noticing a bit of a theme here where the women who are self-proclaimed tradwives on TikTok tradwives, trying to make the distinction here, they are just borderline angry at things. And some of it can be quite sad and other things can be quite inspiring, like the different recipes you can get. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that there's a big distinction with the way that Nara Smith does her channel versus other people. Rod Smith about the performance of it all and the outsized reaction to it. She shrugs, I'm a girly girl, I love dressing up, I love fashion so much. She says, sometimes my outfits aren't the most practical, but then again, fashion isn't always practical. That's what I do. I post videos of me cooking for my kids and my husband. It is really not that deep. Yeah, because her outfits are really outfitting. Her outfits are like next level. It does say that when they then spoke again, Smith has been accused of lifting some of her recipes and video production style from a South African content creator. She's denied the claims and weathered a backlash over that sunscreen from scratch video. Dermatologists, cosmetic chemists, and the New York Times decried the dangers of DIY sun protection. I caught glimpses of the outcry, the sunscreen video. I just shared what we did. Is it the most bulletproof SPF? Probably not. But with us not having other sunscreen in the moment, it worked. To me, it's more about just showing what you can do. Does it mean you have to recreate it at home? No. Smith is representative of a post-cancel culture generation that has moved past a lengthy notes app apology to an unbothered shrug. It's a kind of coping strategy. For the sake of my mental health, I can't indulge in that. I can't keep correcting people or read things and get frustrated. Now, one of the things that I will say about Nara Smith is that she has never come out, I think it was the Ashwanda video where, people even to this very day will say, oh, you're copying creators, etc., etc. She never came out and publicly addressed any of this. And I believe the Be Better company, when they did a deep dive, they did 1 or 2 videos on Nara Smith, they did actually talk about the fact that the way of her brand means that she's not ever going to be responding to controversy.
Things that she keeps extremely private, she's able to capitalize on these universally relatable themes of motherhood and cooking, which allows brands to basically co-opt her image and her brand for any product that they have, and it seamlessly fits in so perfectly because there's really nothing to contrast it, so you can really think of it as an empty billboard.
I think that there is definitely an element of pros and cons to this, but I personally feel that her doing these interviews where she's saying, I'm not a trad wife, stop calling me a trad wife, I'm just cooking for my kids and showing it to you, cooking for my husband, cooking for my kids, I'm just showing it to you. This is her way of getting that message across. However, I do think it would be quite helpful if she relayed this same message but on her TikTok. It would mean that people would understand where they are, but to anchor yourself like that so directly, you're then alienating a large part of your audience. At the end of the day, I show up for my kids in the way that I know they need. Now, her husband, Lucky, however, gets riled up. People are seeing her gaining some success from everything she's doing. If you have someone who doesn't know you at all and they're making a video about you online with things that are not true, you can just tell it's coming from a place of jealousy. Lucky tells me, let us call it what it is. Now, do I think that people are jealous of Miss Nara Smith? I think there's definitely people that are jealous of her and they act out in that kind of way. I do think there are other people, such as myself. I will just say myself, I'm curious. I'm curious about what exactly she is trying to do on the social media streets. Whether or not she will ever publicly say that she's not a trad wife, because that would mean that she is axing out a large part of her trad wife followers. Because let's be honest, a lot of them are. Her saying, I'm not this, stop calling me this, I go out to work, etc., etc. That is her then publicly addressing it and then picking a side. That's just what I think. So her brand is just not to discuss controversies, even though she has had quite a fair few controversies in the past month or so. But do I think that people could be jealous of Nara Smith in the way that she seems like a great mum? She got a good looking husband. They seem perfectly happy together. She cooks, beautiful, she's a model, she's young, she's younger than me. I think she's like 22 and I'm nearly 28. So do you know what I mean? Like, yes, 110%. People can be jealous, but I do also think that if she just addressed some of these controversies and she just came out and openly said, hey, I'm not a trad wife, stop calling me that, then yes, it would mean a lot of her followers would disappear, or at least some of them would. But it would make people understand where they were a lot more, so she wouldn't have to keep on bringing this up, because it wasn't just on Harper's Bazaar. She also did a GQ, I'll leave it down below. She did a GQ interview as well before this one, where she was saying very, very similar things. It feels like every single press tour that she goes on, she's bringing up the fact that she is not a trad wife and she just cooks and cleans and it's all authentic and she wants people to leave her alone. Yeah, like, I think their relationship dynamic is quite cute. I know that there has been a bit of controversy in the past with them getting together, and I believe it was something to do with their age gap when they first got together. If I can't remember what it was, but I think she was young. She was about 17 and he was 20. I can't remember. I'm not good with this. But she then had kids so quickly. They have said that they're not strict Mormon. They don't really know where they stand, but they are Mormon. I remember reading this. The idea of them getting together, married, kids, ultra quickly. Considering they're Mormon, that doesn't seem like such a stretch.
Ordered this so Lucky doesn't even know what's in here. I don't even remember what I got for us. Lucky never orders his own dishes. I always order for him.
I do.
When? When was the last time you ordered your dish?
Well, most of the time I don't care.
Yeah.
And you know what I like, so you just...
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. That was like a little update that I've been meaning to do for a little while, because yeah, she's finally been addressing some things, since I feel like the internet was talking about her loads and they're not talking much about her anymore. But it's just really interesting to me, considering the amount of hype that goes on Tradwife TikTok. If you want to go and look at it, you're more than welcome to. There are so many Tradwife accounts and then people talking about the Tradwife accounts. It's really... There's a lot of things going on over there.
Making sure that everybody had food and drinks and towels and sunscreen and all this stuff. And Jake turns to me and he says, sometimes you give me a yellow lab vibe. I didn't know if that was a positive or a negative. And he says, I just feel like you're kind of like the yellow lab of people. And I kind of feel like we have like a pet owner pet type of relationship. Like, you're always just woof, woof. And if I pat my leg, you come running. And if I throw the ball and tell you to fetch, you do it. It hit me so hard because that truly was our relationship.
But yeah, also please make sure that you click my link down below for your 7-day free trial and 25% off of the Paired app, so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner, which we all want to be doing no matter what stage of relationship you are in. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.